Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Invincible podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends gather around to talk all things Invincible, a comic book and animated series created by Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, and Ryan Ottley. I am one of your hosts, Ryan, and today joining me is TJ.
Oh, hello.
And Bill.
Oh, it's Bill.
How are you guys doing?
I'm doing okay.
Hey, good. Doing good.
Yeah, did you have a nice holiday season?
It's a lot different when you're a parent and an adult.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like you said that last year.
He said it last year, and he said it the year before.
I did. Did I really?
Yeah, you always say that. You always say the same thing.
You know what? I'm going to change it. It gets harder too. It gets less tolerable, I guess. I like the
last
holidays.
year, which is funny because last year you said
I said the same thing.
No, you said that you enjoy it. You think that you enjoy it more than Ryan and I because you have kids.
And would you say the highs are higher and the lows are lower?
I'd say that's probably accurate. Yeah. The kids are getting older, so the gifts are getting a little bit more mature, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's less like, oh, this Batman action figure kind of thing. It's like, oh, an iPad. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm just tired, man. Like, Liz's brother came up from Texas, which was great, but it's just, you know, an entire week, like entertaining and everybody coming over our house like every day. Up until midnight every day, and then I work at 8 o'clock, and so it's exhausting. So it's good to be back to normal, kind of, I guess. Mm-hmm. How about you guys?
Been good. It is a lot. I mean, holidays with family and everything, and I don't know. It's been good though. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit of a tangent, but I feel like we are in a really great time for media. You know what I mean? Like movies and TV shows and books and everything there's just so much stuff. So it's like any chance I get, I'm enjoying what I'm watching or reading or doing. But then when I'm not able to do that, it feels like all this stuff is piling up. That's a good thing, I guess. But So I am very excited to record this episode. This is our yearly looking back episode. This is our fourth time doing this.
TJ here's my prediction of our prediction episode.
Oh Jesus!
About predicting our predictions.
But I have to put something out there before you do this, Bill.
Okay.
Do not make me search this entire episode for next year's predictions, because then I'm gonna have to jump all over the place trying to find them. So if this is a real prediction, you got to save it for the prediction section of the prediction.
No, this is a prediction about this episode, like of who was right.
I know what you're gonna say. I knew
TJ's always right. TJ's right, I'd say 75% of the time.
Okay.
Ryan, you're right, I'd say about 50% of the time, and I'm right about 25% of the time.
I'm going to make a prediction
that's how it goes.
That Bill is going to make 3,000 predictions, and he's going to be right about like 3 out of the 3,000, and then that's all we're going to hear about is those 3 correct predictions.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate.
Throw it and stick it at the wall, see if it sticks.
That's right.
It's so much fun. I love listening back to those, and we've got a good chunk of last year's predictions to react to, as well as make some new ones. If you wanted to be a part of the show, you were able to email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Check out theinvinciblepodcast.com for a list of episodes, show notes, videos, links to email us and all that good stuff. We are also the Oblivion Song Podcast. If you are reading Invincible for the first time, first of all, we spoil the comic on this show. Be careful, as well as the show.
On the Oblivion Song Podcast. Yeah.
But I was going to say, we spoil Invincible on this show. But if you're reading Invincible, you should be reading Oblivion Song, also written by Robert Kirkman, which is ending in 2 issues.
Yeah, 2 issues.
Yeah.
Eventually. It might be 2023.
Issue 35 keeps getting delayed. Like, please. Yeah. I don't want it to end, but like, come on.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
When is it supposed to come out now?
It is currently set for January 26th, which means that if that date stays there, that our next episode of the Oblivion Song Podcast would be the 28th of January. So keep an eye out.
Cool. Very excited.
And we may have some cool things planned for that episode. So
yeah,
maybe.
We'll see. All right, we're going to jump into a couple quick news items before we get to those previous predictions and reactions to those. I do want to put a disclaimer out there that we are trying a new recording platform. And, if there's some issues, if there's some technical issues with audio or video or any dropping out, then apologies. We will figure this out. We're just trying to figure out what works best for us, especially on an episode where I want us all to be able to hear audio. So, news items that has come out since our last episode, shortly after our previous episode all about Invincible merch, Skybound dropped some holiday merch that was Invincible themed. Some like ugly sweaters, some new stickers, some notebooks, mostly Christmas themed.
It was the day after we recorded. The day after.
Yeah. Which was super weird.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys heard anything about like the quality? Like did anybody like get anything that they were really thrilled about? Or I didn't get any of it.
I didn't get anything this year. I think from what I was able to tell, and I want to say I saw somebody talk about the sweaters are obviously like the kind of t-shirt material, they are made to look like sweaters, but they are not sweaters, which you could tell from the images too.
The picture, yeah.
But other than that, I didn't hear much. But also speaking of merch and us talking about merch items on the way, since then, the action figures came out. TJ and I were able to do a unboxing video, which you can check out on our YouTube channel, which we also do our first ever real giveaway, which is still available. So if you're listening to this and you did not enter, and if you did enter, don't listen to what I'm about to say. There's not a ton of entries. You should go enter because you have pretty good odds right now. Like there's a good amount of entries, but go check it out. Watch the unboxing video.
To enter because I did not get any.
No.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to throw my name in the hat. See what happens.
Do it. See what happens. If it comes up, I don't know.
We'll just laugh about it. I won't take them.
So yeah, go check out the unboxing video. Bill, have you gotten a chance to actually see him in person yet?
Not in person, no.
Oh man, I got to get you over here or drop them off or something for you to play around with. I want to hear what you have to think about them. Shortly after we had our unboxing video, though, they announced and revealed the Wave 2, which was announced to be Adam, Eve, and Robot. What do you guys think of those?
I think they look cool. I think Robot looks cooler than Eve. I like the animated style that they are going for. So, but just from the images alone, I can't really say how I feel about it, but
I think they look pretty good. I'm happy with it. I like it.
Eve looks the most cartoon like drawn, in my opinion, like her hair and her facial expression from what we saw.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. I think the same reason why Eve might look a little less like her actual, likeness in the show is the same reason why I think Robot looks even better, because it is that, it's not human features. I think he looks awesome. I think he's among the four, one of the best looking ones.
Yeah.
So I am very excited to see those in person as well. There has been another Tyler Kirkham variant. The previous one was the Invincible one that had a couple different variations. With whether it's black and white or standard colored or foil or bloody foil with gold and all this stuff. They were available through Comics Vault Live and the Whatnot app. And it looks like this one is being sold or being made available the same way through Whatnot. And it's Omni-Man, and it looks insane.
It looks so sick. It looks so sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they look great.
I love Tyler Kirkham.
They're going to look great, especially next to each other. Then the last thing I have on the news for this episode was the thing that I just saw released today was an interview with Stephen Yun over on Collider.
Yeah.
Where he talks a little bit about...
this isn't good news, by the way.
It's not good news.
I don't know if it's bad news either. It's just...
I'd say at the very least. So in the news article...
So,
Go ahead, Ryan. No, go ahead.
Well, if you want, I'm just going to pull it up. So it's an article over on Collider. Go check it out. He talks a lot about a handful of projects that he's working on and been working on. They asked him about season 2 and where season 2 is in development, and he said that we haven't started. I'm sorry, quote, "We haven't started. I know we're starting at some point soon. I've talked to Robert Kirkman here and there. He's super excited about it. He thinks season 2 is going to be even better than season 1, which I have no doubt about. If you go to his source material, Invincible is an incredible comic, and just thinking about how much story hasn't been told from that run, it's going to be bonkers. I'm really excited about it." So then he went on to talk a little bit about the reception and how whether that was expected or not to him, and so on.
We know that the voicing is one of the earlier things done in the process after like storyboards and things like that. So the fact that they're not that far yet and haven't even started, and Stephen Yeun doesn't even know when they're going to start, just sometime soon.
It means for an animated project, there's not even a finished script. Like,
I think they're finished.
I disagree with that.
I think they're finished. But Ryan,
I feel like if there's a finished script, the voice actors would have it. Like,
I'm sure they do though. That doesn't mean that it's not done. That just means they haven't started voicing it yet. But Ryan, the biggest struggle in any animated show is the fact that it has to be fucking drawn. It hasn't even. We know that it's drawn after the voice acting. They haven't even voice acted, let alone started drawing it yet.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't come as a surprise to me. I didn't think that voice acting had been done yet. I think I assumed that they got approved in the summer, and then since then they have been finishing the script for both 2 and 3, because I'm assuming they're going
finding a team.
Also doing casting, also getting storyboards, initial storyboards figured out. Because if they are going to create whatever 2 and 3 back to back, that means they probably had to finish writing 3. They only wrote 1 and got ideas for 2. Now think about that. So they had to have a final 2 and 3, and cast those characters that they didn't know they were going to have when they were making 1. Now, all these actors, these celebrities, all these, voice actors, all these people, they need to get them booked. They need to find a time for all of them to be able to do this recording. They're figuring all this out over the course of, fall and now winter. And it's soon. They might even record in winter. So really, it was just 5-6 months maybe that they've been doing all of that.
Did you say they're going to start recording this winter? Like as in next year? Or like 12 months from now?
No, winter as in
this current
winter just started.
Okay.
Sorry, like seasonally. Like within the next few months, I think they'll be starting voice acting. So I think they're going to voice act for or record voices for 2 and 3. And I think right now we saw that job postings 2 months ago for animation gigs for Skybound and Invincible specifically.
That's fair. I guess
they just started hiring up for animation. Yeah. They're going to start doing storyboards. And we got to remember, they're not going to be creating new assets. They're not figuring out an art style. They're not figuring out, where the story's going to go and all those early things that they got to figure out with a season 1 of a show. I still don't think there's a shot in hell that it's coming out anytime before summer of 2023, but
see,
but
I was literally just about to ask if this changes your prediction. And your prediction was February of next year, February of 2023. That was your original prediction.
Based off of what we know now, that they haven't even started.
Now that we know that they haven't started voice acting, I agree with you. It's getting pushed back to summer.
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if it's fall of 23. Either way, it's 23. Regardless, I mean,
I'd say I don't know. I feel like they would really want to stick with the same schedule that they used for season 1 with end of Q4. But this kind of matches the timeline that Robert was talking. He didn't tell us anything about timeline, but he's like, it's going to be a while. And by a while, I mean at least 1 year where we see nothing.
Yes.
So 2022, this year is going to be dry. We're not going to
even
see
been
or hear
yet.
anything. Exactly.
There were a lot of people pissed off. What? I thought this would be done soon. It's no.
Yeah. If I had to say right now, if I had to give a prediction, I would say
Are we in predictions? Are we doing predictions?
No, we're not in predictions. Keep that, Bill.
I'll
ask you later. I'll ask you later in the official
okay.
prediction section.
All right, cool.
But go check out the interview. Give Collider the click and let us know what you think. Before we go into a couple quick emails, I do want to shout out the fact that we are going to be changing up our format a little bit here. Next episode of the podcast and going forward, we wanted to do something a little different. We kind of miss reading and talking about things, and we have reread Invincible so many times, both on the show and off, and talked about all the tie-ins and all those things, and all those episodes exist. Go check them out. We've got them all in our archives. But we wanted to read some new things that either we haven't read in a long time or have never read before. So what we decided to do is we're going to start reading and discussing different series by creators of Invincible. So it might be different things written by Robert Kirkman. It might be something drawn by Corey Walker or Ryan Ottley. And we're going to discuss those. And we're going to try and keep it to just the volume 1 of each of those things. So a couple of those ideas might be things like Grizzly Shark or Destroyer or Ant-Man or Ultimate X-Men or Die, or just different things that, these creators have worked on. We're going to leave it up to Twitter, I think. We're thinking about doing a Twitter poll sometime, maybe within the next week or two to announce to let you guys decide which one you want us to read and discuss first. And we'll go from there. But I'm very excited. We've been talking about reading things, especially things like Destroyer, for I feel like years. Both that and Grizzly Shark for a really long time. So we're excited that things are going to slow down a little bit and we can start diving into our backlogs a bit.
Did we read Destroyer before we knew
started the podcast
or were fans? We definitely, 100%. I remember reading it before, we read. I feel like I read Destroyer before I read Invincible.
We read Destroyer as it was coming out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I know the first issue of Invincible that we bought on Stan, so we could check the dates exactly when we started reading them.
Okay.
So when we do our Destroyer episode, we'll talk about when we started reading it and because I don't have a collected version of it. I'm going to be pulling out the actual floppies for Destroyer. I suppose I should just read it digitally, but I don't know. I kind of want to pull out the actual comics.
Nice.
I have an email that I'm going to read first. And actually, you know what? No, TJ, do you want to read yours?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So our email comes from Luke Lizaldi. If that's not his name, it is now.
He writes it all the time. I don't remember
it's 1,000% his name.
Is it Lizaldi or Lizaldi?
No, it's Lizaldi.
It ends with an E.
And I'm pretty sure he's told us before, and I forgot. I'm sorry.
No, regardless of what it is, I'm saying it's Lizaldi. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what it is.
He says, quick question. Hey, Ryan, Bill, and the sweet one. If you were at a comic book convention and given a golden VIP ticket to have any artist draw a commission from the Invincible universe, what character would it be and which artist would draw it? In case you're curious, I'd have Greg Capullo draw Adam Eve. I'm pretty impressed with the folks over at Radiant Black that they got him to do an alternate cover for them. This is a very much me question because
absolutely
I love commissions.
So TJ, do you want to go first? Because you probably already have an answer.
He probably has the commission.
He already has it.
Yeah,
he's like, this is what I would ask for.
I have my dream. I have my dream commissions. I'm gonna split it to two just because the first one is the obvious answer, and I think Ryan, you'd agree. The obvious one is Daniel Warren Johnson, and honestly, I would just want him to draw Invincible in an action scene in the city. Something very, I don't know if this is a real word, but scenical. Yeah.
Scenical? You mean scenic?
Scenic?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I mean,
you know what I meant.
Yeah, the actual word. Yeah.
But yeah, something like that where it showed action lines and just a lot of buildings and just carnage. I think
Yeah.
I mean, something, with a lot in it, is amazing. And then the other one, I think Matteo Scalera is an incredible commission artist. He's so good. I love his art. So yeah, those are my two. And I feel like I would have to, if I'm going to get something from an artist that big, I would have to just go Invincible. It would have to be Invincible.
Yeah. So you took mine. You should have just gone with the Mateo one because Daniel Warren Johnson was my first thought. Just the amount of detail he puts into his commissions is insane. So I think the next one that just jumped to mind because I just let a friend borrow Saga and Saga is coming back. Well, I would like to see a Fiona Staples Invincible commission. Let's see, maybe like a crazy Angstrom one. Like I'm just thinking of like the ridiculous stuff that comes out of Saga. What's like something weird and crazy she could draw from Invincible? I don't know, Octobos or something. You know what I mean? Like I could picture her doing something pretty badass from the Invincible universe.
That would be a cool Octobos to get it from her. That would be sweet.
For me, I don't really know a lot of artists. That's the problem. So I guess I would just go like, I don't know, like art that I really, really enjoy, like Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane. I love Todd McFarlane stuff. I feel like he could do like a really gritty, cool, and there's only one commission I would get like at this point, and it would be Dinosaurus, and it would be whoever could do Dinosaurus the best. Did you guys see
the Todd McFarlane Dinosaurs?
It would be fucking awesome, dude. Like the drool and like how like, oh man, he would kill it. But did you see Jason Howard is doing a Batman?
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
And did you see it? It looks fucking phenomenal.
I haven't seen anything from it.
You didn't see the tweet? That just
like
the one little picture?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying there was more.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's going to be sweet.
I can't wait.
That is too cool. I'm so glad he's getting like...
Is it a black label or is it like a standalone thing?
I think it's a standalone something. I
don't think they even kind of released.
He said what it was. Someone said which Batman comic, and he said actually what it was in the tweet in the comments. Maybe I'll find it.
Interesting. So there you go.
Luke Lizaldi, that's his name. Goes on and he says, one other question. Did you find yourselves using quotes from Invincible in your own lives? If so, what are the lines? Myself, whenever I mess up, I find myself saying the following, even to myself, which is from Mark, who says mistakes were made. And that was from when Mark is on Mars talking to the head Martian.
Oh, from the show.
He says, TJ, you will like this one. Whenever I'm surprised or overwhelmed, I'll say from Rex, what the with the F?
No, it's the what the fuck. It's that like that.
When Rex sees Monster Girl turn into monster form for the first time. Thank you, gents. Enjoy yourselves.
I
don't really. Go ahead.
No, I understand the question. Like, have one of the quotes been ingrained in us to where we say it constantly? I don't know off the top of my head.
There's only one that I can think of, and we said it so much.
Oh,
it's,
yeah. There's. I didn't think that's what you're gonna think, but yeah, there's that. I thought you were gonna go with another Rex one because I feel like there's a couple Rex ones that we would say
from the trailer.
No, which one are you thinking?
And bored of this.
Oh no, I was thinking of oh, Robot's got bad news.
Oh yeah.
What's the bad news? What's the bad news, Robot?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say
Robot's
that.
got bad news, everybody.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess where I could start using it is if Liz, my wife, like said, I something, and I'll be like, oh, Liz has bad news. What it like that? Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll start doing it.
Yeah, we're just gonna start doing it.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. Other than that, I'm sure there might be other things I can think of, but off the top of my head, I guess not.
It's time for a rewatch.
Jason Howard.
I can't wait, man.
He said it's upcoming in Urban Legends. Is what what is? I don't even know what Urban Legends is.
It's one of the side stories, one of the side comics. I don't collect it, but I know what it is.
So it is an ongoing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's ongoing.
All right.
Sweet.
I don't care. I'll still pick it up.
For sure. I will too.
Jason Howard.
Ryan, do you have an email?
I have one that I'm going to read right now.
Oh, boy.
This comes from Harrison. He says, "Hey, Invincible Podcast. Apologies in advance for the long email. At the beginning of this year, I had never even heard of Invincible. I was aware of The Walking Dead and Robert Kirkman, but I didn't really have any knowledge of his other works. And then around March or April, I kept seeing gory thumbnails on YouTube with some variation of the title, Omni-Man kills the Guardians of the Globe. Spoilers if any listeners haven't been paying attention to literally all of Invincible.
Now. That's how the internet goes.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy that we're getting an email right now from someone that found a YouTube thumbnail about Omni-Man killing the Guardians and clicked on, and like that was their introduction to Invincible. Like, that's cool to me. It's just, I mean, it sucks, but it's cool.
The ending of the first episode is so jarring, though. It sucks that was ruined before he got.
Yeah, but it's the first episode, and I mean, people will look back after season 5 and 6 and be like, "That was nothing," and it is nothing. So
Harrison continues. Anyway, I went down the rabbit hole a bit, did some digging, and eventually gave the show a chance. Obviously, I fell in love with it, and as a bit of a comic book reader myself, I thought maybe I would give the source material a try. 3 twice read compendiums later, I think it's safe to say I am now obsessed. It wasn't too long after when I discovered the Invincible podcast. As my most listened to podcast of 2021, you guys have provided me with so much entertainment and made my early mornings at work the last few months much more bearable. While you guys may think they're garbage, the podcast had me hooked from even the early episodes.
Oh my
God. This is all basically a really long way of saying thank you for everything you guys have done for the Invincible community. The Invincible podcast is truly something special. You guys rock. Also, I don't remember if you guys have talked about this on the show, but I saw a fan casting that I need to hear your thoughts on because I can't get it out of my head. It was about Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Conquest. Besides being a great actor, this fan casting went on to say that it would be a meta Easter egg for not only is Jeffrey Dean Morgan a Walking Dead veteran,
right?
Spoilers for Walking Dead, but he also beat Glenn to death, played by our very own Mark Grayson, Stephen Yeun. Wouldn't it be poetic justice for Glenn to return the favor? Would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for everything, you guys. Love, Harrison.
I have seen that casting, and I like it. I think you'd be very good at that.
I feel like I have seen that casting just like, here and there, but I never made that connection.
No, I didn't either.
I mean, I made the connection that, he's Negan, but I never really thought, him, Stephen Yeun, like,
Yeah, that's smart.
I've never thought of him voicing Conquest. I don't know. I guess I'd have to listen to some audio and like close my eyes and try to like envision it. Cause
I gotta say, I think even better would be him as Thrag.
Oh yeah.
I can picture his voice being
Thrag, I feel like has like a cleaner, higher pitch voice in my opinion.
I agree that it's cleaner, but I that's how I picture Jeffrey Dean Morgan doing it.
No, Jeffrey Dean Morgan has more of like a kind of.
I don't think that he would
draw
do Negan,
though.
I don't think he would do Negan.
Just think of like comedian and like every role that he's in. Rampage, he played an FBI agent that like is the same. I don't know.
Rampage, what a call out.
I know.
Rampage.
I tried to dig deep for that one.
All right. I have an email. I think that'd be cool. I definitely want to listen back and hear and see if I can hear Conquest in that. But I think it'd be really cool. Thanks, Harrison. All right, what you got, Bill?
All right. So I have, first of all, for the first time ever, my cat is sitting on my lap right now. I don't know if you can see her or the effects of her.
Probably not.
Let me see if I can. Here she is, right here.
You just ruined it.
Yeah.
You ruined it.
It's to Harley. All right, so here we go. Hey, guys. In the spirit of merchandise, I was waiting to write this email for when my Invincible Diamond Select figures came in the mail, and they just arrived. They're so dope. Plus, the announcement of Robot and Eve is pretty rad. Eve's face looks like N64 Zelda, though. I would absolutely love Invincible Pops, like you guys mentioned, and I'm sure it will happen eventually. I'm also sure. I collect Pops myself, but mostly Spider-Man. See attachment. I do fear the dent it'll make on my wallet, considering Skybound will release cool exclusives, no doubt. Speaking of Spider-Man, though, how insane was that movie? No spoilers, but wow. Just wow. The power went out about halfway through when I saw it on Thursday night, forcing me to go to another theater. But it was totally worth it. Anyway, great episode, guys. Stay awesome. Love, your self-proclaimed #1 fan, Chris. And then
Chris wrote in last month with that awesome email.
And I couldn't make it through without laughing, yeah. So he has 2 PSs. So PS, I did read the tie-in series with you guys as I went on LOL. What do you think I am, a monster? So he read Invincible Universe and...
Because we asked him if he had read all those. And I don't know if you need to read the second PS on air.
Okay. Yeah, I'll leave it
just
on.
because he gave us his
gamer
PlayStation
tag
name. Yeah,
so he'd probably make like 4 whole new friends by listening to the podcast with as many listeners as we have. And then he posted a picture of like he's got a lot of Spider-Man
amount of Spider-Man pops.
Yeah,
holy shit! And displayed really in a really cool way though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Here we go. It is time. It is time to time travel. Time to look back at last year and
I'm gonna go back in time
and listen to what we thought. At this time last year, we had seen one small teaser trailer. We were excited because they were starting to do like panels with the cast, and the cast was actually talking about Invincible, which was really cool. The action figures had just been announced and been put up for or not announced, but had just been made available for pre-order. So a year ago, we pre-ordered them. Corey Walker had just teased the King Immortal drawing. Whether you call that a tease or not, he drew King Immortal and put it out on his blog.
Is his blog
Instagram.
Back up? Or is it still... Really?
No, it's gone.
Wow.
Yep. Movie theaters were still closed, but there's rumblings that they might be opening, but it was still looking dicey for movie theaters. And we were optimistic that a vaccine would be coming out soon. That's where we were a year ago. So let's listen now to our first clip of are we going to be looking back from last year?
Are we doing separate clips?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
I'll do a clip. I'll stop it, and then we can react, and then I'll just keep going back and playing them.
Well, hey.
Okay. Give me 1 second while I set this up.
Let me clear my throat.
All right. We are going to stop talking, and we won't start until it starts back up again, because obviously audio will get confusing. And this time next year, we'll actually have video clips to play, because we were not video last year, so we're just playing the audio from last year.
This episode of last year was our last one?
Last audio only.
Was Sean Kirkham?
No, you're right, TJ.
Sean Kirkham was
Sean Kirkham in February, and then after that, it was all video.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. First clip, starting now. Here we go. We are going to time travel. This is the segment I'm going to clip out and play on January 1st of 2021. Or I'm sorry, of 2022.
January of 2022.
Yes, where we get to listen to what we're saying right now as far as predictions. We just got done listening to our previous predictions. So let's see. I'm going to kick it off. Do you guys think we will see the animated series in 2021?
Yes, one of my earliest, when we talked about it, I think that it's going to be a Q1 release. So it's going to be no later than the end of March. 100%.
So at the time,
hands in the air. Hands up in the air.
We might guess dates later in the episode. At the time, we had just listened to our looking back at 2019, and we were all like, yeah, we'll definitely see the show, which is what made that so funny, that we were like, so will we actually see the show? But I think it was safe to say we were all very confident that we would see the show, considering we had just seen a trailer. All right, continuing on.
We're all over the place because who the fuck knows at this point?
I know.
Let's all say a specific date.
Just for fun?
Closest. Yeah, whoever's closest. Bill, you want to go first?
Nope, this isn't Price is Right rules. It's just whoever is closest, one side or the other.
Yep. Miss. How can we? I don't know what date falls on what day though. That's not fair.
I'm looking.
Like what? March. Looking?
I'm
March
just looking.
20th falls on March 20th. Or you mean like you think it's gonna be a Friday or something, like specific day?
Yeah, I'm saying Friday, and I'm gonna go out there on a limb because I don't want it to be, but I'm gonna say September 10th.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm gonna say
somebody be earlier because somebody has to beat me.
I'm just gonna say March 26th. I'll be the earliest one. I'll be the last Friday in Q1.
So I think Bill, you and I are doing the bookends. So TJ, all you got to do is be somewhere in the summer and you're in the middle, and you win, bro.
Literally, when I said that, I was probably gonna go March-ish, but like going through the calendar and just like looking at it and seeing it in front of me, June 4th.
Oof.
June 4th.
We are at like 3 points. I like this. All right, let's see who gets closest.
TJ, you were so close. 2 times during that, you actually said the words March and then took it back.
Yeah, I remember.
It doesn't matter
saying,
how
like when Bill said March, I said like, oh, you took mine. I wanted to go March. I would have gone like March or April. I will admit, if I had chosen March, it wouldn't have been the 26th. It probably would have been earlier because I think I always like the first Friday of the month for some reason. I don't feels right to me. So Bill got that one. That was a good one.
We can all agree that it doesn't matter how many times I'm wrong. The fact that I got that one
again
so right, guys. The series premiere, I got the date right. So it doesn't matter. I can get every single fucking prediction wrong because I don't care. I got that right. And you can never take that away from me, TJ.
And you probably will get every other prediction wrong.
Let's see. Next clip.
I think it's funny.
So do you guys think John Hamm he's one of 2 characters? He's either Thrag,
he's one character,
or Conquest.
He's Thrag.
He is 100% Thrag.
Do you think he's Thrag?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay, so everybody was wrong there
about that, John Hamm. Yeah, we were so confident. We talked about that for a really long time. Well, no, I mean on this episode, I had to like clip just that little bit out. We went on for like 15 minutes talking about how it was not. We weren't even questioning the fact that he was Thrag. We were questioning like how they were going to put Thrag into the season 1.
Yeah,
so dumb.
Okay, I would like to go on the record and say that he could still be a major player in, like, just because he plays Steve doesn't mean that he can play another character. Like, there are many voice actors who do, so.
Yep, definitely.
We could still be right on this one. It could be a prediction 2 years in the future or 2 years.
Steve, yep. Oh man, if he comes back at the end of season 3 as Thrag, can you imagine? But that's not going to happen.
I hope that doesn't happen.
All right, next clip.
Do you guys think that it will be, and I asked you this last year, and you guys actually talked about it for a long time. I had to cut it up. Do you guys think it'll be weekly? Because Bill, you said nothing's weekly anymore. The Boys isn't weekly, and then The Boys came out weekly in 2020.
I think it'll probably be weekly. I don't think that it'll be all. I think it'll do like maybe a 2-episode season premiere, as The Boys did, and as really everything does on HBO, on HBO Max. It does it now. So I would say it'll be weekly minus the first 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. I'm more confident now than I was last year that it'll be weekly, but I still wouldn't really put money on it. I think it could still go either way. You, TJ?
I'm sticking with the prediction I made back in September. It's going to be the first 3 episodes and then weekly.
Yes, sir.
There you go, TJ. You got a point.
I was almost right though too. I get half a point.
You get 2 episodes. Yep. No, good job. 3 episodes. I still, looking back now, I feel like it should have been 2.
I agree.
Just because, the way the third one ended versus the way the second one ended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't very.
And again, I think that just the ending of the second one was a little bit more exciting. It's just the way it's selfish because we also would have had an extra week of the hype and talking about it and everything, because I feel like that just flew by. But yeah, 3 episodes. Good job, TJ. I think this next one is if it is what I think it is. Here we go. Let's play this.
one of my predictions for the show is that not all of the Guardians are going to die all at one time like they did in the comic books. And it's going to be more of a mystery.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then Damian Darkblood is going to play a bigger role than he did in the comic.
That's partly right.
That is partly right. So TJ, you had something there. It was rooted in something very wrong, but it was actually something that is also very right.
What's funny is that after we recorded this episode, we talked about like something that we had seen, and it was somebody, who was it? It was talking to Red Rush's wife. Or no, somebody was talking about Red Rush and was like, when Red Rush died. And then we were like, oh, that proves TJ's theory right, because why would they just be talking about Red Rush and not the entire Guardians? So even after I said that afterwards, we were like, we were convinced that I was right. I was so fucking convinced that I was right.
I wouldn't say we were convinced.
I thought you guys were.
I think it was a viable like guess. Like that's a good theory. Like it wasn't crazy.
Either way, I was fucking convinced. I was so...
You were very convinced that was going to happen.
Not even a question.
Yeah. All right, next up.
Play it. Do it.
Playing now. Oh, this one is going to be a 3-parter, and we each I split it up by our, we each get an answer.
Do it. Do it.
Do it now.
Come on, kill me.
God, I'm right here. It's the Predator podcast now.
What do you guys think will be the reception? How well do you think the show will do / be enjoyed, like both by us and the general public?
This is going to be
first. TJ.
This is going to be tough to measure.
I know,
first,
I know, but I think listening back, we'll know. Yeah.
I think that with what becomes popular nowadays, with the amount of people that are in and they have nothing better to do than watch these really ambiguous things that come out, like Queen's Gambit on Netflix. I never in a million years would have thought that I'd watch a show like that, and I am, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I think that it's going to be huge. I think that it's going to be what there's not an adult. A commercially like digestible adult cartoon right now. Like there's like Castlevania out there, you know what I mean? Like really kind of, niche things that only people that like anime or that like video games would like. But I think superhero, rated R, gory, this is going to be the Deadpool fan base. I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be really fucking big. I think people are going to be talking about it a lot.
So before we get to TJ's response,
how many memes have been created? I'm just saying.
Bill, how do you feel about your... I mean, you talk a little bit more during the rest of ours, but how do you feel about your initial prediction on that?
Like, was I right?
Yeah, do you think you were right?
I feel like it's... I mean, yeah, that's it. It turned into what I thought it would be, where it's like, I mean, we don't have as much like Hot Topic merchandise and stuff like what you would after the first, but it blew up. It was huge. It was everywhere. Everyone was talking about it. Like it was all over Twitter, like YouTube, the amount of people that were reviewing it. Like, yes, it met my expectations of what I thought it would be.
All right, here's TJ's response.
Ever the pessimist. Here we go.
Okay. So I'm going to make a statement and say that I am 100% right about this.
Okay. Oh my God! I hate your future. You know why you're right? Because you're pessimistic all the time, TJ, and you put a lot of fucking negative karma out there, and I hate it. Don't say it, TJ.
This is what I'm gonna say. The show comes out obviously 2021.
I hate you, TJ.
Everybody that's within the Invincible family, like everybody that listens to our podcast, like the whole Skybound team, like anybody that's ever read the comic, within the known Invincible universe, or like Invincible fandom. We all love it. It's amazing. It is perfect. Anybody that watches the show falls in love with the show. They love it. It's amazing. It's perfect. However, 1 year from right now, as we're listening to back listening to me speak right now, there are still occasions where we're telling people about the show, saying, have you heard of Invincible? It's on Amazon Prime. Watch this, like, get to know this. It's not a household name like Walking Dead was at the jump. That's my prediction.
The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead isn't a household name now. I can go up.
It is 100% a household name.
Yeah, I know.
It was right at the start.
He knows he's wrong.
No, it was not from the start. You're crazy,
yes, it was
dude.
from the start.
It was
broke
huge.
records.
It was huge.
It broke records.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a good point, because this was on a network that no one fucking watched, a genre that nobody cared about, and it was a fucking hit. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is during a time where people have nothing better to do than watch content on easily accessible things, and this is going to be it.
So that was TJ's answer.
You could not.
It's a household name.
You
it's a
could
household
not,
name.
Hold on. No. You could not be more right than I was. You couldn't be. That is literally exactly. I mean, you still introduce the show to people. People don't automatically know what Invincible is. It's not Walking Dead. It's not huge.
I will go back to what I said a year ago and agree with past Bill and say that if you went back to the first season of The Walking Dead, it was the same. I feel like it was the
not
same
even
fucking
close.
thing. Yes, dude.
Everybody watched. You don't remember the first season,
bro?
How huge it was. Everybody at work knew what Walking Dead was. Everybody.
Every single person that I've talked to, I had people coming up to me or talking in the distance, be like, "Hey, have you seen Invincible? Like this new show?" And I'm like, "Bro, yeah, of course." Like, TJ,
it's
Ryan,
happened.
what do you think?
It's happened, but absolutely not. It is not.
You started by saying that under the umbrella of the current Invincible fan base, it would be big there, and it obviously was. But dude, this thing blew.
I also said anybody that would watch that stumbles on the show would also love it. Anybody that watches the show would love it, and they do. But they are still going to be. What my point was, and I was right, is they're still going to. If you ask anybody now, what Walking Dead was, what do you know The Walking Dead? Everybody says yes. I was saying there was no way that everybody's going to know what Invincible is the way Walking Dead was.
Bro.
And the reason why we said that was because back then and the year prior, we kept talking about what is Invincible going to be. It's going to be bigger than Walking Dead. It's going to be bigger than Walking Dead. We kept comparing it to Walking Dead. And I was saying, no, it wasn't going to be like that on the first season.
I think The Walking Dead season 1 was probably bigger than Invincible season 1. However, using that metric that you're saying, there were certainly people that didn't know about Walking Dead when season 1 came out. Just like there are people that don't know about Invincible right now.
Or Loki.
I think that
like there are people that like if
by the end of season 1 of Walking Dead, an outrageous amount more people knew about Walking Dead than after the first season of Invincible.
How do you know? You don't know that, dude. You couldn't find
on.
volume 1 or 2 or 3 of Invincible online anywhere. You couldn't find hardcovers anywhere. They were sold out everywhere.
And it's such a hard metric to go by because
it's completely
you are seriously not going to give that to me. I am so right. You know I'm right. Bill, you're being competitive. You know I'm right about this.
I think that
it is not as big as you made it out to be. Not even close.
Here's a question. Here's a question for you. How did the internet react to The Walking Dead season 1? It's a completely different landscape now. Like what I'm saying is like Walking Dead was on a cable channel. This was streaming. This was everywhere. Had the social media backing, but also to Walking Dead's benefit and against Invincible. Is these days there's a billion things out there, and 2 months after Invincible came out, it was just another thing that happened in 2021. You know what I mean?
But the thing, like Bill makes the argument
Walking Dead was a bigger splash.
Bill makes the argument of like, I went on Twitter and all I saw was Invincible. Why do you think that is, Bill?
But we're the Invincible why do you think that But it's the same with Walking Dead. Like, especially then when we weren't on Twitter and we weren't as connected as we are now with the general, consensus on things. Walking Dead was really huge to us in our circles.
Dude, I still go to, again, Bill, it's different for you. You work with a few people and you're very vocal about Invincible and Walking Dead. I work with a ton of people. None of them know what Invincible is. None of them. Unless I've talked to them about it.
That's in your building. That's in, maybe just your building is super. Who knows?
But I think again, I think that would have been possible. You could have said the same thing after season 1 of Walking Dead. But again, well, no.
The thing that I keep going back to is to me it's a household name now, because like my mom, my sisters, your mom, your uncles, and like that was remember that fucking hashtag that we were trying to start, like Moms and Invincibles or whatever. Like so many more people watched it. It was surprising and that's what I was that's what I thought. Sure. I thought it was going to be bigger than what we thought.
Yeah. Here's because we're going to talk a little bit more on it. Here's what I had to say about that last year.
You didn't have much to say at all. Oh, there we go.
I'm going to go a little in between you guys and say, Bill, I think it's there you go. I think it's going to be, you brought up Queen's Gambit. I don't think it'll be a phenomenon such as that was. I think it'll be similar to the reception that The Boys got, but a little less. It'll be like The Boys meets Castlevania, where it does very well enough to keep going. It has its fan base, but it's a little bit wider received, such as The Boys, but I don't think it's going to be.
I disagree with you, Ryan. I think it will be bigger than The Boys because people know that The Boys exist now, and they like that rated R.
Yeah, thank God for The Boys then, right?
Exactly.
Not only did it build a or really put that genre on between that and Deadpool, of course, but really opened that up to Amazon Prime. Like, hey, Amazon Prime has this kind of content. You like this kind of content? Check this out.
The only thing that's going to hold it back is that it's animated,
and that's why I think it's. And
I think it's just going to take. I think it's just going to take enough people talking about it to make every other person watch a little bit of it, and then it's going to blow up. As soon as everyone just catches a glimpse of it, it's going to fucking blow up. It'll be bigger than The Boys. I promise you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think eventually it will, but it won't be first season.
I think absolutely within the first season. The Boys was The Boys within the first season because it was The Boys. This is going to be bigger than that.
All right.
So
I
Ryan,
think that
you said
it was
that you
a little
were
better than I. It was a little better than I predicted. I don't know if it's quite as big as Bill predicted, and I think it's a little better than where TJ predicted. So it's like it's right in. I mean, it's kind of in between where most of us were. TJ and I were a little closer than Bill.
I thought you and I were saying very similar things.
Yeah, I agree. I was being a little bit more reserved about it and keeping expectations in check, I think.
I wish we knew. I wish we knew, because
but we won't.
To
and
everyone's
that's the thing.
point, to everyone's point, it's very subjective.
Do you think that it's as big as The Boys?
I don't know the answer to that. I honestly feel like it's close.
Here's the thing.
You're saying no way?
Not even.
I feel like it's at least close or the same, because I'm just thinking about how many things came up. More people were talking about Invincible, in my opinion, than they were talking about The Boys, because The Boys was just very similar to
answer that question.
I'm just saying from my experience, like my Twitter feed and my Facebook and the conversations that I've had with people were more excited and surprised by Invincible than they were with The Boys.
And I think a big part of it is, and I even said this last year, was that it's animated. Honestly, I feel like it would be right there. Like it would be like a no-brainer. Like, yeah, this is bigger than The Boys, but you know what? It's animated. So even though it did really well, did it do really well for animated?
Oh, it's smashed for animated. I guarantee it.
That's what I'm saying.
Animated.
But I agree that the fact that it was animated does hold it back. Like, there's a lot of people that I say, like, dude, you got to check out this show. Oh, it's animated. Yeah, but dude, you don't get it. Like, you just got to give it a shot.
That.
But that's the reality of it. That's what it is.
Yeah, I know. I've tried getting people into it. Family members.
The problem with this conversation is that it's been so long since it's premiered and finished that all the hype that was there has died down. So that's what we're feeling. But I remember when that shit was on, and like a couple months after the season finale ended, like it was still going strong and people were talking about it. And I don't know. Yeah, I feel like maybe I overshot it a little bit, but I feel like it was still way bigger than what you guys were saying. I don't
wear a lot of t-shirts without like flannel over them, but in that bit of summer, I would constantly get people commenting on Invincible shirts, like the one TJ's wearing.
But here's the thing.
crazy.
I was in the middle of a jungle and someone said, "Nice show."
This is the perfect. I'm glad you said that, Ryan.
In a jungle.
I'm glad. Ryan, I'm glad you said that, because if I were to wear a Walking Dead T-shirt into Target, no one's going to say anything to me. The reason why. Hold on. The reason why you were getting compliments is because somebody saw something that is not a typical thing that you see, that is not very popular, but you share that, so they want to call it out. So yeah, I've gotten the same thing, but I don't think that getting compliments on a T-shirt proves that it's popular. I think it shows that people are excited because it's more of an underground thing. If I see somebody, I don't know. I think it's more
wearing a Spider-Man No Way Home shirt. You're not going to be like, "Sick shirt. How was the movie?"
No, exactly. I wouldn't do that.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. Does that make you less excited? Or do you think people are more excited? The fact that they will go up to a stranger and say, "Hey, I fucking love that show." To me, that's more excitement.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Than someone that wouldn't go up to you and say it.
Right. But that's not what we're talking about. I mean, for sure. Like that excitement is, there's nothing better than that.
So you're talking specifically about the volume of people.
Yeah, like the popularity, the overall popularity. Oh yeah, anybody that watches this show, if they don't love it, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It was perfect, whether you read the comic or not. So no, yeah, I agree with the excitement and the level of how good it was, for sure.
Yeah, I just think the more people that like it, the more people, the higher chance that somebody's gonna comment on a shirt. You know what I mean? It never happened before. Show comes out.
I just feel like, like even like the reviews and the articles that were being written about it, like I feel like we wouldn't have seen those articles if it wasn't that popular. Like, people were writing stuff about it. Like,
I also feel like we've seen like every article, which
I don't think we have. But next prediction.
Again, I don't know what do you mean? What does that mean? I mean,
it means that there are enough articles for us to have seen them all.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's really a metric to go by. Like,
again, we don't really have a metric,
there were probably just as many articles written about The Boys or any other show that came out.
Okay, so in that we talked about Castlevania and we talked about other things like Queen's Gambit. I saw less things about Queen's Gambit than I did about Invincible. I saw more articles and things about Invincible than I did Queen's Gambit. And that's the truth. Yeah. And that's not just because what I look at, because I'm just like scrolling through stuff, news feed, like Facebook, and I don't know. I feel like it was bigger than what you guys are saying, but
all right. Next up.
Hoping that San Diego Comic-Con next year, this year in 2021 will be like them talking about what's coming up in season 2 of Invincible animated series.
That would be so early on, though, you know?
No, like not showing it.
No, I know, like, but even talking about it, it's so early.
The action figures are coming out in June, right?
Yeah. Predictions on the second wave?
Eve
I put two
and
things
a villain.
Yes, I agree. We need Eve and a villain.
Would it only be 2 though? Because it would.
No, it could be like 4.
I could see Alan. Like,
oh my god, an Alan figure. That's someone we haven't seen an actual design for. I really want to see what Alan looks like in the show.
So I put 2 clips there that kind of tied together. I had to cut some of the middle out of there. Predictions on San Diego Comic-Con, hopeful that it was actually going to happen. And then predictions on who we'd see, if we'd see a second wave of action figures. And
I said Eve.
Out Adam Eve.
Yep.
So partially right there. Points. And next clip.
Do it
now.
Moving on, anything merch related. We know that the figures are coming up. We gave a little bit of a prediction earlier on in this episode where we thought that we might see wave 2 of the figures. Anything else?
I think that we're going to get an open world role playing video game, like in the sense of Skyrim. I don't think we're going to get. I don't think.
how did we not even get apparel in 2020?
Because of
I thought
COVID.
that was a sure fucking.
Well, also you said that being 2019 TJ, who had just seen Skybound do a big push on apparel, which they haven't really this year. So,
but I'm still in the same mindset. Like, if we don't get, I mean, yes, we're going to get apparel. The show is coming out. If action figures are coming out, apparel is going to come out. But it's still surprising to me that like even Skybound outside of the show didn't have anything. But I don't know. And I also feel like right now the Skybound store is really like pushing things out of their store. They're sold out of like everything. Yep. And I think there's going to be a whole big wave that comes in of
new stuff,
merchandise.
Agreed. Yep. All right.
I just want apparel.
All right.
Give me something to wear. Give me a nice fucking hoodie.
TJ, did you get your apparel?
Holy shit, did I get apparel? I honestly, like, I knew that we were going to get apparel. We got way more than we expected. Way more than we expected. So
then we could handle. They just kept like we were drowning in it. We were like, enough.
It's like every Invincible Friday over and over, like just tons of. I'm like, we were so broke. We were like, Ryan, I remember you saying like, I can't do it, but I have to fucking do it because it would disappear.
We just feel like years of
nothing,
like wanting to support and give them money for this product. Like we want this stuff. And then eventually it was like drowning.
What an amazing marketing strategy that they did. Because it made you couldn't wait to see what was next. We started making predictions of what the merch was going to be based on the episode we saw. Remember like the Teen mug?
The Teen mug.
Yeah, like we were like, oh, it's going to be that. It's going to be that. What like I hope we get more of that. Just
same
different quality.
All right, next clip.
Do it.
It's coming. It's coming.
Do it.
Here we go. We're talking to ourselves in 2021. Did we see anything or hear anything regarding the movie?
If we do, it will be some nonchalant statement about how it is
still
indefinitely on hold.
Interesting.
I think this is absolutely dependent on when the show comes out. If we were going by my prediction, which I have to, because I said by March, I think if the show comes out that soon, then I'm obligated to say that we will absolutely have relevant movie news by the end of the year.
I think in your prediction realm, Bill, in your scenario, with it coming out early and it being this smash success, I think that they would be like, okay, let's fast track the movie. This is a big property. Let's work on this. Mm-hmm. I think in my scenario, it's going to be, maybe we should kick the tires on this thing and start maybe doing it. And I agree with TJ. We're like, we might hear a passing thing about how, we're still working on that. And that's it.
So
I've been hurt, guys. I've been hurt.
It's because you asked to be hurt. You're like, I'm gonna guess that Invincible's gonna die and everything sucks.
No, I'm saying like I was the exact opposite for how long? I think we all were regarding the movie. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get casting news in a year. Like on the announcement episode that we did, like
we were so naive. We were so naive. That's what it is.
And literally, we've talked about it for so long and made so many constant predictions that keep getting pushed back and keep getting pushed back and later and later. I feel like it's just not gonna happen. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen. I'm just saying it's not going to happen any fucking time soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of, I mean, guys, this March is our 5-year anniversary.
What better time than the show to come out?
In March.
Yeah.
TJ?
It's not coming out any fucking time soon.
Ryan, you get points in my opinion because you said that TJ, you said that you get a comment like it's on hold indefinitely. Ryan, you said that the only news or comments that we get is that it's still happening, which is literally what it.
So
Kirkman said that.
Hold on.
Seth Rogen said that.
But we've gotten that for the past 6 years.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Every year for the past 6 years.
Yeah. But because of the show's success, it did come up. It was very much like, what does this mean for the movie? What does this mean for the movie? So that was talked about. it was definitely talked about after the show's success, but it was the same answer.
Do you guys think that it's still like?
That's later. We'll get there.
All right.
I'm just going to say something that's relevant now because I looked. It's not even on IMDb. Like it's not on upcoming. No, it was. It was on up. It was on.
Yeah, it was on
Seth Rogen's upcoming projects.
Seth Rogen's. We talked about it a couple episodes. We talked
it's
about
not anymore.
We talked about it a couple episodes ago that it got taken down off of his list.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? Dropkick and Fightmaster were listed as voices, and so was Oliver. I don't trust IMDb. It's user
That's true.
generator, whatever. People can take stuff down.
Whoever took it down was probably sick of hearing, "Oh, it's coming, it's coming."
Mm-hmm.
It's probably Seth Rogen. All right, next one. Almost done.
Will we get a new Invincible comic book in 2021?
Yes, we will. I don't know when new comic books come out, but based on Cory Walker's his Instagram, 1,000%. It'll be probably later in the year, though. I'd say.
My prediction is pretty specific, but I'm going to say that we don't get the comic in 2021. However, the future us that are sitting there, we know when we're going to get it.
Ooh, okay. All right, so it's not out, but it's announced.
Yeah, I think I'm going to laugh at you when we have this, and I'm going to have it up digitally on my phone, quoting specific parts of it. That's my prediction. TJ.
I predict that it will be late summer, early fall, but we will get something, and it'll probably be one issue.
I disagree with you, Ryan. Humbly, of course. But I do agree that we'll both be laughing at TJ's stupid ass prediction.
I think it's a good prediction. It's all right.
I love that you said that, because if I'm right,
if I'm right,
and you never did say it. You were just saying.
Yeah.
If I'm right.
Yep.
Yeah.
We knew.
Bill,
we knew.
Please just hold it up. Hold it up, Bill.
I don't know. What do you want me to put? Like, I don't have. There's nothing.
No.
Nothing.
No. Cory Walker played us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what?
We know what it is, though.
Yeah, Kirkman said
it hasn't officially been announced, but Kirkman more or less told us what it is.
What are you talking about?
He said that if enough people
go onto Cory Walker's blog,
go onto his blog, that
and then his blog disappeared.
Yeah, maybe we would get a one shot where Invincible fights Tara. So it's a one shot.
I'd say every 2 days, maybe 3 days at most will pass where I check his blog to see if it's still up. I just did, and it's back up.
Wow. And you're just finding it now?
Nothing new. Nothing new.
But it's just back up with everything back on there?
Yeah, as of the last post was in October.
Literally
weird. Previously you couldn't see anything.
Right before we started recording, we talked about the blog, and you were like, "Yeah, it's still not back up. It's still gone."
I know.
That's funny.
It's still gone. And I thought I'd check again because I haven't checked in the last day or two.
That's funny that you literally just checked that. That's funny.
Yeah. Don't take it down, Corey. Please.
Maybe something's coming. That's why I put it back up.
Mm-hmm. We'll save that for our predictions.
You know what?
Almost done with these.
Something is going to get posted because it always does. Tomorrow, the day after we record this. Mm-hmm. It's always the freaking day after. Watch.
I don't care at this point. Do it. Do it. I dare you.
Can it just be released after we release the episode though? Like that's what I want, so people know that we talked about it and then it came out.
Yeah, right. All right. I think we got 2 more maybe. Here we go. Next clip.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Any other predictions, comments, notes to the future that you'd like to send from the past to the future?
Is it possible that I could get any more sexy?
I guess we'll find out.
Good one.
Well, we will have our 5-year anniversary as well as episode 100. No, wait. Yes, episode 100. Because this is episode 92 right now. We will have done our 100th episode of the Invincible podcast in 2021. So I guess I will repeat what I said exactly a year ago. I think 2020 was the lull, was the calm before this. I think that 2021 will be a good year for Invincible, and I think that we're going to get some great stuff.
I think that 2020 was kind of a good year. Like, in terms of, for a comic book that is not out anymore, we got a trailer, we got a ton of casting news, we got action figures, images, news, like,
Yeah, we got by. I mean, all things considered.
Yeah. Barely. We're running on fumes.
We're running on fumes, guys. Come on.
And that's it.
And I can be more sexy. We found out.
Every year. You're like a fine wine,
every
TJ.
year.
Did you think that, and saying that, running out of fumes, looking for stuff to talk about, that we would be as exhausted? Remember how exhausted we were coming out of the show? Recording, guys, we were recording twice a week.
I'm glad you said that, Bill. In 2021, we recorded 18 episodes, 17 of which were in video format. I guess.
No, we did 2 and
16 of which.
16.
Sorry, I wasn't counting the looking back episode. So 18 episodes, 16 of which were in video format. We also did additional videos, reactions to the clip and date reveal. We did the reaction to the full trailer reveal. We did a unboxing video. Guests that we had on our show in 2021 include Sean Kirkham, Greg Miller, Robert Kirkman twice, Jeff Allen, Michael Borkowski, as well as multiple Invincible fans. We had our 5th anniversary. We had our 100th episode, which released in conjunction with the finale review. Obviously, the show, episode reviews weekly. We got a new intro and song. We had the new readers return after like a 2-year hiatus, and many more random episodes. We were dead. Like April.
It was a big
April.
It was a big year for us. It was a very big year.
It was very big. So what do you think, guys? Time to time travel again?
Let's do it.
2023 will not be as big for the Invincible podcast, I don't think.
You mean 2022?
2022,
which
is the year that we're in right now.
I'm already ahead. I'm thinking to 2023.
We do this every year. We always fuck this up.
We do this every year.
Yeah.
I think 2022 will be a lot like 2019.
Can I just...
I think 2023 will have some exciting stuff.
I'm going to add something.
Go ahead.
I'm going to add something. Another thing that we achieved a year ago was we were excited that we surpassed 1,000 followers on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Holy crap, you're right.
We're at over 3,600 now.
No.
We're at 3,679 followers.
Huh.
Wow.
So that's all thanks to the show and has nothing to do with us.
No, of course.
quite a bit of views on our YouTube episodes as well. Like the video.
Yeah. We also did some. Go ahead.
We hit was it 16th in the world the weekend? Like we were the 16th most popular podcast in the world the weekend of the finale, the weekend of our 100th episode.
Wasn't it a huge hit? Wasn't it
It wasn't a huge hit?
What? Wasn't a huge hit?
No, go ahead.
Oh, the show.
I'm talking about the show. Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't say anything about the show. It says something about us. Like, we were the 6th biggest, but that was in a specific
16th.
That was in a specific category. It wasn't over all podcasts.
Yeah. Actually, it was. No, I'm wrong. We were 30. I think 30. I thought it was 16. Maybe when I screen capped this, it was 34. But I have proof of at least 34th. Mm-hmm. But yeah, right by the one slot above an IGN podcast. Crazy. So yeah, big year, huge year. So 2022.
It's going to be drier than 2019.
I think it's going to be
2020. Sorry, 2020.
Yeah, overall impression, I think it'll be a drier year. It'll be slower. Yeah. I think this is a year where it's going to be a lot of them building up. We'll start with this. Any season 2 information?
In all of this year, yes. We'll have end of the year, probably around Christmas time. We will have, I don't want to say a trailer, but something.
I think I will go on record to say San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con, hoping San Diego.
You got to pick one.
Or New York. I will say one. San Diego. San Diego. We will get you're yeah. I was going to say New York. And you're safer. San Diego will get casting.
I agree.
And that's it.
Casting at New York Comic-Con, and that's it.
Yep.
When is San Diego Comic-Con?
It might be June or July. We don't know.
I'm also willing to bet.
New York is usually in October, right?
I think San Diego Comic-Con is going to get delayed again. It won't be the last week of November like 2021's was, but it'll be later than the end of July, I think. So I think Ryan, your and both of our predictions are going to be around the same time of year. But I'm going to go New York Comic-Con because I just feel like Skybound likes New York Comic-Con for announcements more than San Diego.
So here's my prediction. I have a very specific prediction then. So New York Comic-Con, is Oliver chewing on plastic or something? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what that is?
Like it.
Yeah.
Fucking Oliver. My prediction is that we are going to have a cast reveal and a cast panel in New York Comic-Con. I think there's actually going to be a panel of at least the core crew, like Stephen Yeun
and they welcome
everyone, and they'll
Jeffrey
welcome
Dean Morgan onto the stage.
No, that's not my prediction. They may have a new cast member that's coming on, but they'll at least have a panel of the current cast because there will be season 2 news throughout the year. But the big stuff's going to be the cast reveal and panel at New York City Comic Con. And
we're all in agreement. No footage. Nothing, no screenshots, nothing like that. So we're not even going to take a guess at when season 2 will come out. As of just for posterity or whatever. I'm currently saying summer to fall 2023.
The only thing I struggle with, I'm going to stick with my prediction, but the only thing that I struggle with is the fact that this is not season 1 anymore. It's season 2. So I think that the cast announcements aren't going to be as big of a deal. So once they cast Angstrom and it's like legit, I can see them doing it, announcing it earlier in the year because it's not as big of a deal. So I'm going to stick with my prediction of New York Comic-Con, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got it earlier than that. Little things.
The thing that makes me sway towards New York and go back on what I'm saying as San Diego is that save it for New York because that'll be closer to the release of season 3 so they could start building that train. If they announce that in June or July and then there's a dry spell for a year, that's why. Okay, question for you. Will Wave 2 action figures come out in 2022?
Yes. This year? Will
they're
Even Robot come out? Yeah, they'll come out.
They'll come out. I'm just saying
they'll probably come out at Comic-Con.
Were delayed.
They'll probably. I'd say probably around New York Comic-Con time, October.
I think they're scheduled for this summer, right? June, July.
I think so. They were last ones were pre-ordered on Christmas and then came out 2 weeks before the following Christmas. This one isn't going to be that long because first of all, I think the first 2 were delayed because of COVID, and sure, like it's still out there, but I think they're going to be able to adapt to that a little bit more, having gone through it for fucking 3 years or what will be 3 years. So I don't think there's going to be that much of a delay. So I think it's going to come out. I'm going to say they will get delayed, but it's not going to be a very big delay, and we will have it by the end of no later than the end of September. We will have them in hand. No later than that.
Do you guys think that season 3 will be announced? Series 3 will be announced by the time we record next year's Looking Back episode?
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah. And you want to take any shots at who you think they will be?
Rex.
We already talked about this in our video.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys did?
Well, actually, I think we said who.
Did you watch the video, Bill?
Yeah.
I think we
Totally
said.
did.
I take that back. I don't think we did. I think we instead talked about who we wanted. Because who I want is not who I think we're going to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want, and I think we'll get. I think are kind of the same. I want like Rexplode and a villain. Give me Battle Beast or Titan.
No way. You'll get Titan before you get Battle Beast. I think you get Rexplode and like, I think if
Maulers would be
Monster
so
Girl,
cool.
if Monster Girl came
Monster
out
Girl would be
with
cool.
Rexplode, I think that would be a fucking sick set.
Dude, what if Monster Girl came out and it came with a smaller version
With
of her
an
as well?
Amanda. Oh my god, what if it was an Amanda
Shit.
and a Monster Girl?
I mean, that'd be kind of funny just to have a box with just Amanda in it.
Yeah.
I would want them to just come in the same set instead of getting the alternate hands and the alternate base or
She could be the little
baseball.
the accessories. Yeah.
Yeah.
The people.
I think so. I'll make a prediction. I'll say Rexplode and Monster Girl. I think that would
That'd be
be a
great.
dope.
I think that would be amazing. However, I agree that we got to have a villain.
gotta have a villain.
Who I said I wanted was Rexplode and Battle Beast. I think we're gonna get. Fuck.
Maybe like Doc
Machine Head?
Seismic or something.
I feel like it's got to be Rexplode. It's got to be Rexplode. But
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
gonna be Rex.
Something
Yeah.
is telling me it's not gonna
But
be.
then who's the villain?
Like I said, it could be Machine Head. It could be Titan.
It's
Doc
gonna
Seismic.
be. I think it should be
A
a
Martian.
Mauler.
The Mauler would be huge. They're in almost every
That's why
episode.
I
if
feel
not
like it
every
needs to
episode.
be a Mauler.
They'll encourage you to buy 2 of them so you would have both of them. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's a no-brainer. I love the
I'm
idea of
gonna
it
say
being
a
a Mauler.
Mauler. So
right.
Mauler and Rexplode.
Okay. Next question. Will we see conventions next year? And will San Diego Comic-Con even happen?
I mean, we saw conventions this year,
I know we already... Yeah.
and San Diego Comic-Con
Yep.
happened this year, or in 2021. It's just very late.
Yep.
So yes,
Will it-
we will get
will it-
one for sure.
Do you think it'll be like normal conventions, though?
No.
That's what I mean. So there's an asterisk there.
I mean, like what?
Yeah.
I'm curious as to what guidelines I should make a prediction on. Like, what are you asking? Will we get conventions? Absolutely. Will
Is there going to be a San Diego Comic-Con that we will want to go to?
Like
I
a
mean,
fi-
I
like a
fucking
physical
wanna go.
convention, not some. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the last one.
The one on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, but
Oh, you're crazy.
I definitely would have gone for sure. Yeah, I think I mean, you guys are different. You don't like to travel. You guys don't like crowds. You didn't like that before COVID. So I can't speak for you guys, but for me, absolutely.
yeah.
Well, it's not. Do you want to go? It's do you think there's going to be?
Yeah.
Well, TJ,
conventions.
earlier you said you thought San Diego was going to get canceled again.
No, I said delayed. It will get delayed.
Delayed.
Yeah. I do think it'll get delayed.
Delayed but not canceled.
I mean, it's not going to get delayed. I think that it's going to be a later date than it usually is, which usually it's the end of July. It's not going to be the end of July.
Yeah.
The new date is going to be, probably September or October.
Do you guys think we're going to have stricter restrictions with COVID coming up soon? Like with the cases that are, I mean, ICU beds are between 80 and 90 to 100%
We just
capacity in
reached, we
some
just reached
places.
an all-time high again.
That's what I'm saying. Like we could
What?
see another spike and more like travel restrictions and
Mhm.
I don't know. That's a hard prediction to make because who knows where we're going to be in 6 months
I know.
from now.
Yep. Yeah. Like 6
I would
months
like
ago,
to
I
say
didn't
yes,
think, I
there's
didn't
gonna
think
be-
we would be where we are now 6 months ago.
I don't
know?
see. I don't think like conventions necessarily like have to continue to keep the economy going. Like restaurants, movie theaters, like just regular stores. I feel like they're just going to keep retail open and not shut it down again like they did before. But I feel like those types of conventions, those extra things, they're not gonna do if it gets bad again.
One question that we asked.
The thing is that those kind of things keep like the city of San Diego
alive.
Going too, though, like that those are
well,
huge for the cities that they take place in.
One prediction that we made on last year's episode that we didn't touch on was, do we think that theaters are going to reopen? And they did. They did reopen.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that, the world is always going to be attempting and trying to go back to normal. It's not going to be for years. It's never going to be normal. So that's why I'm not sure on what guidelines I should make a prediction, because I do think there's going to be cons this year, but there's definitely going to be major restrictions. And like Bill said, it's getting worse again. So there's going to be cons, but it's going to be cons like there was in 2021, where it's like, do I want to go? Do I not want to go? Like, it's always going to be a risk.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Here's a big one for you. Are we going to see an Invincible comic book?
Yes.
Will there be the spinoff or the tie-in or anything?
There will be.
Whether or not we know what it is, if it's the spinoff that we've been talking about for a while, regardless of what it is, yes, we will see a comic this year.
TJ?
Do you want a specific time frame?
You don't know.
So
tell me whatever you want.
I don't want to.
You're talking to yourself.
Here's what I was going to say. If all three of us agree that we're going to see this comic in 2022, then we should pick a time.
Okay. Ryan, so me and TJ agree there's going to be a comic. What do you think, Ryan?
I don't know. I want to say no.
Okay. Well,
I want to say no. I think that, I mean, and I know it's ironic because, Cory Walker's blog just popped back up magically today as we're recording. But prior to that, I had decided I'm going to stop thinking about it. And I think that it was just a fun thing. I think he was just drawing things. I think he was just playing with the fans because of the show being a big deal.
Oh, you don't think it's real?
And I don't think he's making a comic anymore.
So this
I think I've decided that it is not going to happen.
I will go on record
if it does,
saying,
obviously I will go apeshit, but I'm accepting it, and I need to accept and stop thinking about it.
I'm going to go on record and say that's insane. There has to be a comic.
I understand why Ryan is saying that. I really do.
How do you guys not agree with about the Invincible movie, but you'll agree with Ryan's disdain for?
I'm
disdain.
Saying,
oh no, it's not disdain.
I'm saying I understand why Ryan is saying that
because he's heartbroken.
But I'm disagreeing with him, and I'm also going to say I'm going to make another prediction that the comic is going to get announced right before this episode airs. So the comic is going to get announced on the 6th of January.
We didn't even debate this last time. That's how confident we were. And now we have more reason to believe it is not happening. So
no,
why are we still so confident?
I predicted that we weren't going to have it in hand. That it wasn't going to be out yet. So I mean,
but it was never a doubt though last year. I think this year there's more doubt in my mind. That's
you're saying that it's real. Doubt that it's real. Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, yeah, there's still zero doubt in my mind that it is real, in my opinion.
Wow.
Not even a fraction of.
Ryan, you really think that Kirkman and
we're just
Cory Walker were just trolling us the whole time?
Ryan's been hurt too.
Wow.
Who hurt you? He also drew Destroyer. He drew Wolfman. Like, we're not reading into that stuff. Like,
maybe we should. Maybe we fucking should.
He drew a lot of other characters on that blog. We're just looking for what we want to see, maybe. And I don't know. I just don't want to believe it. I want to.
A year from now, if we still have nothing and nothing was said, and it's, I feel like a part of me, even a year from now, is going to be like, still like kind of believe
it's going to be this year. Yeah, I will too.
That it's still a thing.
So you guys are in that deep. So
my answer is always going to be yes. Even when it comes out, is there going to be a sequel? Yeah, absolutely.
So even if it's not true, like 3 years from now, we haven't heard anything or seen anything, I'm still going to be like, there's a comic out there that they just haven't released. I'm going to feel it.
Don't they say that's what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results?
That is insanity, yes. But that's
we're
not
doing
what
the
that-
same
that's
thing
not
over
what
and
this
over
is.
again and expecting the same result. We're saying there will be a comic and expecting there to be a comic.
The result is it didn't come out, and you're gonna do it again.
Except
and
next year.
expect a different result. Yeah.
It's like playing the lottery. You can't fucking win unless you scratch that ticket. And I'm not going to put it out there in the universe that the comic doesn't exist.
But the definition of insanity,
I'm not gonna play the game.
definition of insanity as it applies to what we're saying also applies to the fucking movie, Ryan. It applies to the movie.
It does.
The movie's not happening. The movie's not happening.
It's not happening. It's not happening. That's Dad,
Next
you heard it
question.
here.
Do we hear anything about the Invincible movie? Hear anything, good or bad?
It's canceled. No. I'm going to say that there's no Kirkman or Seth or someone attached to the movie will be asked about the movie and we will get the same answer. These things take time. That's what we'll get. We won't get a yes or no. We'll just say these things take time.
They will never say it's canceled. They won't. Why would they? What do they have to gain by saying that it's canceled? If they won't say it's canceled, we're not getting anything. Zero. We're going to get...
I'm going to go
Go ahead.
One step further, Bill, and I don't even think we get that. I think this is just going to be a quiet, under-the-radar type year where that won't even come up.
It'll happen because the show...
It'll come up in season 2.
No, it'll happen because there's going to be cons. There's going to be out there. They're going to be doing interviews. Someone's going to ask the question, especially...
There's going to be Invincible talk at cons about season 2 coming out, and then someone's going to be like, oh, what about the movie?
Yeah.
All right, nobody listening to this, and this includes both of you, if they put it out there, give us questions for Robert Kirkman on this panel. You guys can't ask just to prove me wrong.
All right. You're saying that no one's going to ask? That's your prediction? No one's going to ask any Kirkman or anybody from Skybound what's the deal with the Invincible movie?
Yeah.
Ryan, what you say is
it was asked twice.
By reputable sources.
The show came out.
Okay.
In an actual interview with Robert Kirkman, and they say something about the movie. Obviously fans are going to ask him. That won't
count.
There's
nothing that Hollywood Reporter would report on.
Oh,
right,
Nothing's
exactly.
Gonna come out.
Right.
All right. I agree with that.
Yeah,
if fans are going to ask.
If Robert Kirkman goes on a podcast like ours and says something, I don't think that counts. But yeah, I'm saying there's nothing.
Okay.
Will we see any Invincible merch to the point of video game, board game, card game, anything like that other than apparel, basically?
No. I don't even think we'll see new apparel, to be honest. Maybe we'll see a Halloween costume. That would be kind of fun.
If I remember, man, this is tough.
Yeah.
I feel like they got to put something out. Something.
I'm saying there's a 30% chance that there'll be some sort of either iPhone game or board game type thing.
I don't think
that's it.
No way. We know that a game has been in development or something is in the works. We've heard multiple people say certain things about it. But the fact that the show that Steven Yeun has said the show hasn't even... I mean, those are two different productions, though, so I can't really base it off of that. But I guess based off of that, I don't think we'll see.
We're going to get something where Invincible's going to be in Fortnite or...
Well, I mean, we'll get action figures.
Right. Action figures for sure. But that being excluded because we know about that. There's going to be some... Ryan, I agree with you. There's going to be a phone game or a board game, or they're going to be in some form of video game that is not their own property.
No.
Like a Fortnite thing,
The problem
or
with
Mortal
that
Kombat
kind of thing is that the problem with that, guys, is that Fortnite things always come out when it's hyped. When it's like Spider-Man in, you know what I mean? It's because Spider-Man No Way Home was coming out. That something like that will come out right before season 2 comes out, after we see a trailer, or when it comes out, but not a lick before.
Yeah.
So no, we won't see. We might get a game announcement. Do you think we'll get a game announcement this year?
Video game?
I would count an announcement. I don't think it'll happen, but I would count that if you want to take that.
So you don't think we'll get a game announcement, but you think we could get a game?
Yes.
That's very interesting.
As in like
a phone game or something?
I think it's just gonna be something smaller. I don't think like when you say a game announcement, it's like this is like a big game,
like a Telltale
Invincible,
game.
The Invincible video game.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get something of that scale announced or not. But I could see there being, and of course, I guess they will announce the iPhone game first. But like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. And then finally, and most importantly, will TJ get sexier?
I think time and time again has just answered that question for us.
Yeah,
so I think it would be foolish to say anything other than yes at this point.
All right. We've got an email from Wyatt Bridges, our good friend Wyatt, who writes in and says, "Hey guys, 2021 was amazing for Invincible at least, and the future of the series has never been more exciting. So I'll jump right into my predictions for 2022. We will get a short teaser trailer for season 2 by the end of the year with a 2023 release date. The trailer will tease Angstrom, but will not show any new footage of Omni-Man." He also says we will see the release of whatever Corey Walker has been working on by the end of the year, but it won't be announced in a typical way. Kirkman will do something weird like he did with Die, Die, Die or Solid Blood.
Mm-hmm. Just release it. Just have it come out.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, Bill will make no fewer than 2 pizza bets throughout the year. He will lose at least one, but also win at least one. Keep up all the great work. Wyatt. All right. I hope Wyatt's predictions come true. We'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, the more Invincible stuff that happens this year, the better. But I really think it's going to be
like.
I think I'm being prepared for a slower year. I'm prepared for that, and that's okay because this is what we expected. Robert Kirkman told us to expect this. It's just going to be a slower year. These things will take time, and that's fine. It'll be okay. We have plenty of other stuff to talk about. I do want to give ourselves a quick minute. We have a few more minutes here. Do you guys want to give any shout outs to any movies, games, shows, comics, anything that you've been enjoying lately?
Oh,
are we
so
doing our favorites of 2021?
Oh, I did not think about that.
I did not think about it.
Because we did last year, and I think we did the year before.
We did do it last year. I think last year was the first time we did it. I don't know if I could do it on the spot.
Okay.
Can we? And the reason we did that is because we had just talked about stuff on Oblivion Song. So how about we do the opposite this year? We're going to talk about a couple things that we've been into lately now, and then hopefully at the end of this month, at the end of Oblivion Song, we'll talk about our top 3 of each topic.
All right. Okay.
For 2021. Is that okay?
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So right now, immediately, like I said at the top of the show, there's been so much stuff out lately. Obviously, movies. Tick Tick Boom was amazing.
Yep.
I haven't seen it yet. Oh, you should watch it. I think you're gonna like it.
We were going to a couple days ago, but then we just it was like 10 o'clock, and we're like, I feel like I want to be like super like awake for this.
It is.
So
it is very. It will no doubt get nominated. Not even a question. I think it's going to get nominated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it'll get a couple nominations.
I think so too. I think it's going to.
He better get it.
Was it theatrical?
Yeah.
Yes.
In like last year, like
no,
November
it was
time?
Netflix.
But
I think
but it was Regal had it at in November.
We
don't need to dive into Spider-Man too much, I don't think. I mean, we all saw it. I loved it. I thought it's in, I don't know where I put it in my ranking. I want to say it's definitely in the top 5. It might be higher of the top 5 on my MCU ranking list.
I don't know where I would put it, but I wouldn't put it that high. I would say that I liked it, but it also had a lot of what I don't like about that type of movie. But we want to spoil it, so I won't get into it.
Yeah. I'm not an MCU type of guy. I'm not like a huge fan of the MCU movies. I would rank this my favorite MCU movie though, because like what I was saying after I saw the movie is that it got more excitement and emotion out of me than any other Marvel movie has in the past. And for obvious reason, I'm sure you can guess what that is. But we talked about this on the podcast before the movie came out. MCU is all fan service, and that's all it is. And I said, like, I don't really like that about Marvel. However, this upcoming No Way Home movie, that's all I want. Just give me all the fan service. And I felt like that's what we got. So yeah, probably my favorite Marvel movie.
But I feel like it could have done certain things better. Like it literally just laid it out in some scenes, and it was like, here's the most fan servicey thing we could do that has literally no bearing on the story at all. And I was just like, let's go.
I think they could have gone a lot deeper with the fan service too, though. A lot deeper.
I think the right thing to do is some subtle things that they did with connections with past characters. And that's all I'm going to say. Like things that you're like, oh, this happened because of this, not them blatantly mentioning things that happened in other movies. That's what I'm referring to.
I thought Willem Dafoe was fucking crazy too.
He was Joker level good. Yeah. Like he took his Goblin character from the first movie and like he was like, that was child's play. Like I can do this way better, and he fucking did.
Yeah, he was amazing. Between him, yeah. Oh yeah. I watched. Did either of you watch Witcher season 2?
Yes, I just finished it. Did you watch it?
I finished it.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I thought it was really good. I wasn't crazy about the finale. There's a couple things I didn't like about that. I missed the creative storytelling that we got with season 1, which I think was a big part of it. But ultimately, I really enjoyed it. I thought, and the after credit scene was a surprise to me. I didn't know that was a thing. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I enjoy it. It's a fun world. I like, I like how, and I know there was a lot of complaints about season 1 feeling like it was kind of freak of the week, kind of episodic in that way, or anthology. But that's what I mean. It felt like a video game. This one kind of kept that trend where it was like, all right, who's the monster going to be? Who's the main threat in this episode? But this one was definitely much more linear and much more story focused when it came to that kind of stuff. But it was still really good. I really enjoyed it.
I would say that if I gave season 1 like a 9 out of 10, I would give this maybe like a 7 or an 8.
Yep.
Like
7.5.
Yeah. And that hurts to say because it's still really good. But I don't know why so many people didn't like the way the first season was filmed and the time. Like I loved how creative it was with the timeline. And I thought that it was not confusing at all. Once you figured out what was going on, you're like, holy shit, that's smart. So that was definitely missing, like that layer of creativity and challenge. Like it seemed less challenging, so less interesting. But I really liked it.
Yeah, Hawkeye was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It isn't anything, crazy to me. I don't think
people say it's the best MCU. Is it? I watched the first episode so far.
It is.
Yeah,
it is not Loki. However,
I liked Loki and WandaVision more.
I thought Hawkeye was significantly better than WandaVision. Significantly.
Wow.
But it wasn't Loki. Loki was the best out of the shows, in my opinion, so far. But I enjoyed Hawkeye. Hawkeye's always been like the three of us outside of the podcast always joke about how I love characters with like a bow and arrow. I've always liked that. Hawkeye's always been my favorite Avenger. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. There were some like it felt like a TV show type of thing.
Definitely.
But I liked it a lot. I thought it was good. By the end, I was like,
and Haley Steinfeld's awesome. Yeah. I'm watching Dickinson season 3 now. Like she's great. Bill, last episode you told me I needed to watch Arcane. I did, and then I got Wyatt to watch it, and I've started a rewatch of it, and I've watched probably over a dozen YouTube videos on like breakdowns of it and details about it. And like, I'm telling you,
and Bill, you haven't even finished it.
And Bill haven't even finished it.
Listen, guys, my son and I promised we would watch it together. Like it would be one thing that we watched together, and we have very different schedules, obviously. So it's hard. Like when I get home, I'm doing this. And when he gets home, he's doing this. And like, then we're done with the day. So it's just very difficult to find time to watch it.
I'm very excited to hear what you think about it. I'm excited to continue my rewatch. Other than that, I got Ghost of Tsushima for Christmas, so I will be playing that one. I'm excited to jump into that.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
What a game. I'm
excited. Did the Avengers raid with Mitch and Wyatt and our friend Matt. That was very fun. We finally beat it a couple nights ago. other than comic book wise, Radiant Black's still great. Hulk by Ryan Ottley is awesome. It's very good. Him and Donny Cates are doing Hulk and really enjoyed that.
It's crazier than I thought it was going to be.
Definitely, yeah. Especially without having any type of like whatever label on it, like DC does Black Label. It's like, oh, this is pretty crazy for just a
pretty gory.
Oh yeah.
It's very Ryan Ottley. So
cool. Oh yeah,
maybe I'll give it a go.
Yeah, it's cool. I think you're gonna dig it. All right. Any other things you guys have been into lately? You want to give a shout out to?
So I mean, what you didn't say. I got a PS5. I beat Ratchet and Clank in about 3 days.
Oh my god,
that's a fucking game.
Bill,
holy shit!
In my opinion, the best Ratchet and Clank game.
The best Ratchet and Clank
game. The story.
Did you beat it?
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
The story.
The story is so good, and not only that, but the rifting. Come on, dude! It was so much fun.
That's not even like the going to rifts and stuff like that. The way that they made like the environment, it was just so cinematic. Like you weren't just like rail grinding; you were rail grinding on things that were moving through the environment, and things were like exploding around you. Yeah. And I was like, "Holy shit, dude!" It was. Oh my god,
it was a great game
on PS5. This was insane. So I was walking in an underground layer that was underwater, and I walked through a puddle. And as I walked out of the puddle, my shoes were squishing, like not like sloshing, like ironically, like if you get water in your shoes and how your shoes like would sound like they're sloshing just a little, that was happening. I'm like, are you hearing this right now? Do you hear my feet? It's crazy. It was so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then I played a little bit of Deathloop.
Yeah. Did you try? Oh, you played Miles on PS4, right?
Yeah, I beat that on PS4. Yeah.
Cool.
Anything else? I just finished season 2 of The Great on Hulu with I always forget his name, Nicholas Hoult.
I hear wonderful things.
Nicholas Hoult. Oh, that show. And, I've heard good things.
Nicholas Hoult and Ellie Fanning. Season 1 was so good, and then season 2 finally came out. I couldn't wait to watch it, and I just binged the shit out of it. Awesome. It's great follow up.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Like Bill, it's like I said, it's a very much a you show because it starts off a little too goofy where you're like but then it gets so funny and the story but the story is so good. You guys would both really really like that. So yeah, I finished season 2 of that. I literally just watched the Harry Potter reunion.
It was so good.
Liz watched it and she said she cried.
Awesome. Yeah, it was.
She said she like cried at one point.
Yeah, it was awesome. I kind of did a list for like the year because I thought we were doing that. So I'm trying to think of like we'll do it for. I'm going to save all that.
Oh, I saw Sing 2. Did you guys see Sing 2 yet?
I never saw Sing 1.
No.
So it was very good. It was better than the first one. And the whole point is like they sing songs that are like we know, right? In like fun ways and stuff. Really good ways. The Struts are in it.
Really?
Cool. Yep.
That's cool.
I watched a show on Apple TV called Invasion, which was very good. Obviously about aliens coming to Earth. It was really good. It's almost kind of like a Crash type of thing where it's like multiple people around the world and dealing with it, and it was awesome. Okay. By the end, it was
or like Valentine's Day.
Yes,
like Jessica Biel's doing this, and then like that. Vanessa Hudgens is doing this, and like
no, like New Year's.
Any of those
there was a thing where they kept doing that.
Yeah, they kept doing that fucking movie.
But Crash started it.
It was the ensemble,
and then
movie.
Bill and I
it was like Love Actually kind of thing.
Bill and I are binge or watching Foundation also on Apple TV. We watch like 1 or 2 episodes every time we hang out, which is like once a month now. Especially like the holidays.
It was rough.
And stuff.
We're gonna get back to it. We're getting back to it next Monday though. Yeah. But what do you think of it, TJ? Like, do you?
It is very much like it's how they described it. It's Game of Thrones in space. It's so involved. There's so much like deep story where you gotta fucking pay attention to everything. If you miss one little thing, you're lost. So
yeah.
Did either of you watch Wheel of Time?
No, I saw it. I don't know if I'm really interested in it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It did not look interesting at all to me.
It's getting brave stuff though. People are raving about it. So maybe eventually. There's so many shows I need to watch.
That does it for our first episode of 2022. Thank you all for joining us. Remember, if you want to be a part of the show, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, over at theinvinciblepodcast.com. Shout out to Wyatt Layne for hooking us up with the awesome intro music and music that you're going to be hearing right now as well. You can check out all of his music over on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, and so on. He releases new music on the first Friday of every month, just like we release episodes. We'll be back next month. We're going to be talking about Volume 1 of something. We don't know yet. We're going to put a poll up over on Twitter and let you guys decide. I'm excited for whatever it's going to be, though. So thank you all for listening. We'll see you around next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.